Hi, good morning. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 592, and we are here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. The birds are singing, the sun's up, the sun is out too. Kitties are happy, they just had treats. If you're joining me live, please say hello and let me know if you're crafting today. Let me know if you have questions for me. Let's get the party started. Hi, Shelbell. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Barb. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Hi, Nora Sue. Good morning, Naomi and Cindy and Lily. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. Good morning, Grace and Judy and Patch, Pamela, Constance, Jane, Joe, Thea, Lisa, Christine, Sharon, Carrie. Whoa, those went fast. I really kept up this morning. Hi, Thea and Joyce and Judy. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and this is Create, Share, Inspire podcast. Today is episode 592. Hi, Anne. Can you believe it? Hi, Joyce. Crazy. I can't believe we've done this 592 times. Thanks, Naomi. Thank you, Kim. I posted a link in the video description for where you can get this dress. This is one of my Amazon dresses that I love. Really easy to wear. It does zip up the back, so it comes in number sizes. Or does it? Maybe I bought a large. We'll have to look. If someone checks out the link, let me know if it came in sizes. I'm pretty sure I bought a large. Anyway, it has a waistband and it's cut and sewn with woven fabric. It has a zipper down the back, and then it does come with a belt and has belt loops on it, but I chose to wear a thicker belt this morning. So this thicker elastic belt that I have. And it is a full skirt with roses over the top. Very vintage inspired. Oh, I should turn around so you can see the back too. These chairs need rollers. Okay, so there's the front. You can see it has a very high neckline, so no cleavage, which is kind of nice sometimes, right? And then it zips all the way up the back, and it has a high neck in the back as well. And it has a completely full skirt. And you can see the fabric swishes nice. And I'm 5'9", and it comes just above my kneecap, just above. So there. But it comes in tons of prints. So if you don't like this print, there are lots of others too. But I think this one's really bright and colorful. Kind of reminds me of the bad girl on Grease, though. Remember in the dance scene, Bernadetto from the other town? Do you guys remember who I'm talking about? Remember that? I can't remember what her name was. Bernadetta Di Gregorio or something. Am I getting it close? Anyway, I think her dress was red with black polka dots, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. And Cha-Cha Di Gregorio, yes, from High School Bernadetto or something. I don't remember. Her name was Cha-Cha, yes. I think her dress was red with black polka dots. We'll have to check it out. Oh gosh, I guess we need an excuse to go watch Grease today. Anyway, I think her dress was red with black polka dots, but I've always thought about her when I look at these dresses and when I try them on. And this dress did come in a red print with black polka dots, but I thought that was just too. From St. Bernadette's. Yes, 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 Naomi. For those of you who are Grease fans, I am working on some piano music from some of the songs. So you may see some Grease songs coming up in Name That Song. Actually, we did one last week. We did Hopelessly Devoted to You. Do you remember that? We did that song in the game last week. It's okay if you're not a Grease fan. Not everybody loves everything. Thank you, Sunshine. Oh, and you may notice I'm wearing two different color earrings this morning. I wanted to show you that you could go, how interesting it is that you could really go in different directions with bright color prints like this. I have my tassel earrings on. I have a pair in red from Be So Fine Yarn and $1 Million Red, and I have a pair on in black from Be So Fine Yarn Raven. And I'll show them to you up close. And it was just kind of interesting to see what you guys thought, if the red was too on the money with red lipstick, or if the black was more of a contrast with red lipstick with the dress. So I wore both because I thought it'd be fun to talk about, and even just to show you that there are still choices, right? Thank you, Priyanka. I always have new earring patterns, Priyanka. You just want to check out my website. Patch likes the red, Lisa likes the black. I like both of them, but for different reasons. I think the black is really nice contrast with the red lipstick and the red flowers, but the red, I almost think like the red would be more fun during the day, and like if you went to a daytime wedding, and if you were going to a nighttime wedding, maybe wear the black, or maybe if it depended on what color shoes you were going to wear. Oh, I think I'd still wear black shoes and the black belt. But it's just fun to think, right? Yes, Kim, the full skirt is so nice. I love it. Be great to go dancing in this, wouldn't it? Wear both but switch ears. I don't know what that means. Yeah, red pumps would be fun too. You're right. And I actually do have red pumps. So maybe you would wear red pumps if you wore the red earrings, and maybe you'd wear black pumps with the black earrings. I think it looks neat. Sunshine likes it with both colors. Klein has this dress but in teal. Awesome. So the red is on the other ear. Got it. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you that you still have choices with color, even with a print that's so graphically or so bold with just a little bit of color. You still have options with how you can decorate and accessorize. You could even go with a pop of color. What if you wore yellow accessories with this dress, especially if you're going to do daytime instead of night? I think if you were going to go with gold accessories or silver, you could do a silver belt, silver shoes, and silver earrings. You could do all of that in gold. You could do all of that in a bright yellow. Bright yellow would look great with this kind of print too. Or even turquoise would be great with this kind of print. And that would definitely keep it lighter and more whimsical, and definitely be more appropriate, or not more appropriate, but more fun for daytime. Yeah, turquoise or yellow, I don't know, very vintage and pop, pin up. How big is the waist? Anne wants to know. It's sized, so I mean, but it's super stretchy. See, it's got a waistband and it has the zipper in the back, but it is sized, so you want to pay attention to their sizing chart. I'm pretty sure I bought a large, but maybe an extra large. I don't remember. I'll have to look. There's no way I can look back there while I have it on. But it has an incredible amount of stretch in it, which just really feels very put together. So, thanks, Patch. I curled my bangs a little bit more today. I actually curled everything today. Not that my curls are going to stay in this humidity, but hey, I only have to look done up for 30 minutes. It's definitely a retro style, yes, which is why I went with the more curled bangs too. I could have even pulled the top up like this and put a pin there. That would have been cute. A little more of a bouffant in the front. Anyway, does anybody want to see sneak peeks today? Or I have a few different things I wanted to show you. But we could go into sneak peeks first. We could go into, remember how yesterday I showed you some of my crochet books that I've gotten the rights back to, and showed you some patterns that I thought would be fun to revisit and change up? Well, I also have the rights back to these two knitting books, a Knitting Rhapsody and Knitting Outside the Swatch. And there are a couple patterns in both of these that I thought would be fun to show you that I would like to revisit. So we have those to look at today, and I have two crochet patterns that the samples are done, the charts are done, the charts are sized. All I have left to do is write out the written pattern with sizes, get it to tech editing, and do the photography, finish the layout, finish the tech editing, and then release them. So you can, as you know, it is a process in releasing patterns. So it sounds like there's still a lot to do, but so much has been done first that it's pretty exciting to be able to show you them at this point, because I feel like we're definitely close. Should be within the week. So it looks like there's a lot of excitement about the patterns. So I'm going to show you 2 summery crochet tops that have sleeve options. So this is the Trixie top, and this is a crochet pullover with sleeves done in Be So Sporty Bling. Isn't that great? It's a top-down raglan construction, which is similar to the Sweet Clara construction, but different, right? And a different stitch pattern and a different repeat for the raglan, because it's a different stitch pattern. But I worked on the charts already. It's absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to have this one done. This is called the Trixie, and I'm gonna look up the name of the other one, because all of a sudden I can't remember the name of the other one. So I may as well look it up while we're here. I'm not seeing it there either. Okay, let me look it up here, because I know, oh, maybe I didn't name it yet. I could have sworn I named it, but now I can't remember the name. Well, I'm gonna have to call it the unnamed sweater then, because I could have sworn I did it. No, I opened up the wrong thing. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I'm not gonna come up with the name right now. Anyway, this is a crochet pullover that is an extremely easy pattern to make. There's no shaping within the stitch pattern on this one. How awesome is that? And this one is done in Be So Fine yarn. You could actually size up and make this an oversized beach cover-up, or make it to size and wear it as a pullover with a tank top underneath. You could make it longer to make it a dress. Let's see, did I? Yep, did not name it yet, so when the pattern comes out, you'll know the name. Anyway, so these are the 2 sneak peeks that I am in the middle of finishing up the patterns on right now. Both absolutely gorgeous. This one's done in Be So Fine yarn, which means you could also substitute Be So Fine Bling or Be So Lush yarn, or use Be So Fine. And this one uses Be So Sporty Bling yarn. I used Be So Sporty Bling Silver with this one, so you could use Be So Sporty Bling Gold, or you could use regular Be So Sporty for this one. So there's multiple choices for yarns, and obviously the patterns will come sized, which all my patterns do. I'll share with you the yardage so you can figure out whichever yarn you want. And I'll tell you how many balls of each of the specific yarns that I used. And I'm also going to be sharing, what else? And there'll be charts for everything, and multiple sizes, and written instructions, and then eventually there will be video tutorials as well. So this one's called Trixie. This one I can't remember, but I should have both of them released sometime next week, and very excited to share them with you. Neither one of them is going to be hard to make, so yay! And like I said, if you wanted to make a size or 2 larger than you normally wear, they'd make great oversized beach cover-ups too. Thank you, Sunshine. Yeah, the sleeves are beautiful. You're welcome, Judy. I like making charts for a couple of reasons. Number one, I love graphic design, and I love making charts just because. And I think they're pretty, and I think they're structural, and they make sense, and they're symmetrical, so I love making them just for the sake of making them, but I love making them because I know that they empower everyone else to, once you learn how to read charts, they empower people to be able to step outside their comfort zone and make things that they didn't necessarily think they knew how to make before reading them. So charts are an amazing tool, and it does help everybody so much to have them to support the written pattern. So it's twofold why I love making charts so much. Thank you, Nora. Do I do anything then crochet like arts and crafts? Yes, I love all sorts of arts and crafts. I like everything from woodworking and I like woodworking, I like making furniture, I like painting, I like drawing. I like sewing, I like knitting and crochet, obviously. What else? All sorts of things. Gardening, cooking, playing piano. There's all sorts of arts and crafts and hobbies that I absolutely love. But painting and drawing are two of my loves as well. And I'm working on something else behind the scenes with that right now that's really exciting. And it's so funny because it's work, but it's a creative outlet, and I've been staying up way too late at night lately working on it. But I am very dedicated to getting my day job done first before I add something else to the plate. So I wait till very late at night, and then I go at it with so much enthusiasm and gusto. But I'm working on a print collection for fabrics right now that I'm over the moon excited about and can't wait to share with you. And I will give you one sneak peek about it. It's inspired by watercolors. So I'm working on a watercolor print collection right now that is just making my heart explode with joy. I'm enjoying it so much, which is why it allows me to stay up so late. Anyway, I'm completely sleep deprived this week because of it, but yet I'm still excited about it. Anyway, if anybody doesn't, unless anybody has any questions, we'll move on to the next segment. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. And so my vision is to have fabrics that will be great for lining bags and lining knit and crochet patterns and stuff like that. But then in cotton, but then those prints on other fabrics could then be made into sundresses and skirts and things like that, because some of you might remember that I have this dream of one day having a dress collection with matching knit and crochet shrugs so that the whole thing can be worn together. So and I think that vision started, what was the movie? You've Got Mail. In the final scene of You've Got Mail, Meg Ryan wears a simple shift dress, or a simple kind of a sleeveless dress, and I think it's linen, and she has a matching knit or crocheted shrug over it, or little tiny cardigan. And might be a really wonderful way. Whoa! Oh no, he went under my chair. Oh, poor baby. He's okay. He's okay. It's the loudest I've ever heard a kitty cry here. You guys all right? Anyway. So I lost connection there, so if you thought something weird happened, that was me. Oh, I feel so bad. I did not hurt him. He just got scared. I know. Yeah, so my connection got interrupted for a second, but I am back, so don't know what we missed, but I was just going on and on about that fabric and yarn collaboration dream of mine. So anyway, we'll talk about that when it's for real. So let's talk about some projects. Let's talk about some projects that we could revisit in either of these books. So there are several projects in A Knitting Rhapsody that I think we could revisit, and I'll show you some of them here, starting with this infinity motif cardigan. I think that this would be absolutely amazing in a thinner yarn. This was done in a chunky yarn many years ago, and I would like to see that in a thinner yarn. This one I think would be beautiful as a large rectangular wrap instead of a scarf. So I would like to see that with more repeats of the pattern. And that would be something for Be So Fine yarn. Now, if you wanted to do that, the chart's already there. So you could actually figure out, you could just add more multiples of the repeat to do that. This was fun. Would love to try to do that texture on something else. That might be a beautiful evening wrap too, because of the ruffles. This one, I would like to see this particular pattern done in a variety of different things, including maybe a tank top, a pullover, a cardigan, a bag. This would be great in a rectangular wrap. And again, I would like to see this in a thinner yarn. This was done in a number 5, I think, a number 5 bulky yarn. I think that floral cutout on the seed stitch would be so beautiful in a thinner yarn too. Even making a triangle, a top-down triangle shawl where you made this little cutout in offset pattern. I think that would be so beautiful. Maybe you could do it in garter stitch then instead of seed stitch, and still do that picot edge, which I was so proud of when I came up with that for this. In this pattern you learn how to do a picot. No, this is all knitting. You learn how to do a picot on the side of your rows and along the top and bottom, so it looks like you did a perimeter border, but you really did it as you go. Here's another photo of it. So I think that's something that we could do in so many different ways. This is a knitting pattern that actually looks like crochet stitches. Isn't that awesome? Again, this was a scarf. I think it'd be so beautiful as a rectangular wrap or even a triangular shawl. Be really cute as a tank top too, because it has so much open work. Another candidate for doing as a rectangular wrap instead of just a smaller scarf. This one I think I would do in Be So Baby yarn, but I think I would make it several repeats wider and definitely several pieces longer. I think it'd be beautiful as like a large rectangular wrap. What's cool about this one is that it is a reversible cable. So that cable looks identical on both sides, like here. Now this one was done with a super bulky yarn too, so this might even be a good candidate for doubling Be So Baby yarn or for doing chain plying and tripling it. But again, I would want to do how about doing an afghan or a throw with this? So rectangular wrap, an afghan or a throw. In chain plying 3-ply of Be So Baby yarn, maybe with 10mm knitting needles, and that would just be incredible. So it's a reversible cable with a drop stitch in between each of those cables. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it, but I would love to see it in a larger scale. All right. Here was my first version of that Jenna poncho construction. Remember the one I showed yesterday? This one's done in ribbing instead of lace. Still say the lace is prettier though. This one, this was called the Sand Dollar. I wish you could see the overhead shot. The structure of this stitch pattern looks like a sand dollar when it's open, but because I was using this other yarn that was DK weight cotton, I feel like it was way too heavy for this project. This would be so much prettier in a lace weight yarn. And so I created these oval cutouts in the bottom here, which look like a sand dollar, but they also work twofold because then you have a place to add the belt in there as well, if you wanted to belt it. And yes, I think this would be much, much prettier in a lace weight yarn. It would bring new life to it. Okay, then this is the Infinity Cardi Wrap. It's a rectangular wrap with sleeves. And this was also done in a chunky yarn. And I think that if we use 2 colors of Be So Fine or Be So Sporty yarn that were close in color, so they just slightly changed color and striped this motif, I think that that would be really elegant and beautiful and would really make this a little more elegant because it would be a thinner cardigan. This was really bulky and chunky, and you know I prefer things that are lighter weight. So there's the back, and there's some of the front with a crossed drop stitch. I also think that this would be pretty in without sleeves as well. This one's really pretty. This one, this is the Tree of Life Ruana. So it's a simple Ruana in the front and back, and then there's some embroidery to make an embroidered Tree of Life on the back. Let's see if there's a better picture of that. Okay, so it's intarsia for the trunk of the tree. Hopefully you can see that. And then I did embroidery for making the leaves on the branches and leaves on the back. I think this would be really great to do in colors, which would be a great candidate for redoing in Be So Baby yarn and making a colorful, full of life Tree of Life on the back. Wouldn't that be cool? We've got so many colors, including chocolate if I wanted to do, but I think even doing the whole Ruana in a color, doing the trunk in chocolate brown, and then doing a rainbow of colors for the leaves and stuff for the actual Tree of Life. think that'd be really pretty as a very colorful project. And then the front is just nice and plain, so it's just really bold on the back. I think that'd be so awesome. Anyway, this one would be a good candidate for redoing too. That's the one on the cover. Let's see, what else did I want? Oh, and this one, this is knit motifs that you join as you go, kind of like we join crochet motifs as you go. There's more of that in the other book, though. This is actually the wrap that I would want to redo, maybe in Be So Sporty or Be So Fine. And this is a rectangular shawl version of it in here. This would be a great candidate for doing in Be So Sporty yarn, and maybe making it a larger shawl. This is a small shawlette. I would rather see that as a large shawl. Isn't that flower petal edging just gorgeous? That's all knitting. But yeah, do that in Be So Sporty yarn. Be so pretty, and just make it longer. Here's a feather and fan shawl pattern. So it's a feather and fan pattern that ends up being a half circle. Isn't that beautiful? That'd be great for a Be So Fine pattern or Be So Fine bling pattern. Or what if you even alternated sections, like did a couple of inches in Be So Fine, a couple of inches in Be So Fine bling, a couple of inches fine bling, or even sporty and doing sporty bling. So you're adding stripes of shimmer in there. That would be beautiful. And this one I definitely would like to see redone in fine or sporty. So this is a half hexagon shawl, but what I would like to see done with this one is I would like to see this done as a poncho. So if you took the half hexagon for the front and then made a second one for the back and then sewed up the shoulders like we did on the Morgana shawl to Morgana poncho, this would be a good candidate for doing that. Maybe doing it in Be So Fine or Be So Sporty. Look at that edging. Isn't that beautiful? There's another picture of the edging. Oh, Christine saw this one in a yarn store with beads. Wow. Yeah, there's a better picture of the edging. I love the edging on this one. So the edgings work sideways and cinched as you go. Okay. Yeah, and there's skirts in here. Both of the skirts would be great candidates for redoing. This skirt was also doubles as a sarong. This skirt would be a great candidate for redoing and Be So Sporty yarn. I think this was a sport weight silk, so sport weight bamboo would be a perfect substitute. So redoing this one would be gorgeous. And this one was a different type of embellished yarn. There were beads in the ruffles and then regular here. So what if you did bling yarn for the ruffles and then regular sporty for the body? That would be a fun way to accentuate that ruffle. There's a knit X stitch in the Tree of Life, different from the crochet X stitch, but yes. I think that's it for this book. So then I wanted to show you some stuff in here in this book. If you've never seen this book, I have to say, this book wasn't really marketed very well. Sorry, but it's true. This, I think is one of the most interesting knitting books, definitely the most interesting knitting concept I ever came up with. And that was for creating knit motifs that you can join as you go in the same theoretical concept of crochet motifs that you can join as you go. So like, look at this hat. See those motifs? You'd think that those are knit motifs, but that there's a crochet chain around the edge of them that is joined. No, that's all knitting. So I teach you in this book how to do a knit chain to be able to make that kind of effect and make that kind of join as you go concept for knitting. Isn't that great? So then this ends up being a reference book where there's motifs. I think there's 40 motifs in here. And then there are projects that show you how to join those motifs as you go. So the front is all a bunch of different motifs, some of them, and then the whole section of motifs is set up as things that you work in the round, things that start from the center out, things that are worked side to side. And then here's one of the knit motifs. This is all knitting, knit motifs, and you join them as you go to the next motifs, and then afterwards work that edging at the very end. This would be a great project for Be So Bold yarn, Be So Sporty yarn. So beautiful. And so then there are projects in the back, and that's what I wanted to get to show you. So we talked about this scarf the other day, that I think that this would be a great candidate for redoing and, you know, revisiting the pattern and modernizing it with Be So Baby yarn. The hat I would love to redo and Be So Sporty yarn. Let me find some more patterns in here. This shrug. I would like to redo this shrug with a crochet motif and do a crochet version of it. And I'd like to redo this in Be So Sporty yarn. So it's 4 square motifs on the back, and so we would size those squares for each size of the finished garment, and then afterwards work a ribbed collar around the whole thing. Wouldn't that be great? So you could do this in color work or all in one color. Imagine making crochet motifs that are super colorful for the back, and then picking one color from that to do the ribbed collar. And then I think in knitting and crochet, I think that this is just a wonderful, simple design that could be easily sized up for multiple sizes, and just an all-around great, fun, quick project. Doesn't that look fun? So whether we did it in Be So Baby yarn, or I actually think Be So Baby yarn would be fun for that, especially if we got into some really crazy color work. I don't mean crazy, you know what I mean. Exciting. This is interesting too. This is a simple top-down triangular shawl that has square motifs on the bottom. They didn't photograph it too well for that, but you can see in the schematic that it has square motifs along the bottom, and those are square lace motifs. So you could do all sorts of different types of shapes down here for edging, and maybe they don't have to be that big. Maybe we could make them this big and do a bunch of them. Maybe we could alternate squares and circles and hexagons, and maybe kind of link them together and make multi-shapes along the bottom. Wouldn't that be beautiful? This was done in Be So Fine, at #1 fingering weight, or lace weight. So we could definitely do that in Be So Fine yarn. Wouldn't that be fun to do a variety of different shapes to create, like, I don't know, like a bobbled edging, but in lace motifs? I think so. This was a great, I love this here. This is what I call a lace argyle. See how you've got the diamonds and then the lines of an argyle, but I did it where you see it through the negative space from the open work. And I think that this would be an all-over amazing beach cover-up, right? This is done in knitting. You could also do this type of construction in crochet. It's worked sideways in strips like that, and then you join the next strip as you go. So this would be really interesting to show as a knit and crochet side-by-side type of project. I do like it as a top like this, but I think that doing an all-over pattern like that and making it an open work, beach cover-up, tunic, whatever, I think would be really amazing. Oh, and here's that shawl again. Definitely would like to visit that again. Maybe even do that as a pullover too. Right? Maybe if you even did that as the upper portion and then went to solid stitches underneath, maybe do that as just the top of the sleeves and the top of the yoke. Kind of like that, but maybe only 1 strip instead of 2 strips. This is really cool too, and this would be really fun to do in more high contrast colors. I did low contrast colors, so these yellows are really close, so you kind of can't see the herringbone design as well. So here's the schematic that helps you see that it is a herringbone design. So I do think that it might actually be easier to see this if we did 3 or 4 or 5 rows of it, which means that it would be probably better as a rectangular wrap or a throw than as a scarf. But what's really cute about these as well, and hopefully you can see, there's X's and O's in each of the tiles. So it's kind of like giving someone hugs and kisses in, in your stitch work. Can you see the X's and O's in there? Hopefully you can see that. Ah, here's a better picture. Maybe you can see the X's and O's in there now. All right. All right, so there. So I think we saw enough ideas in those two books too. And obviously these books are available now. I'm pretty sure I sell this one on sale on my website. You can still find this one online as well on Amazon. So you can find this one on Amazon or on my website. I do sell that one directly too. So if you like any of those patterns as is, or you feel comfortable exploring with yarn substitution or design substitution from what we talked about today, go for it. Go try it on your own. That's fine. And if you want to wait until I get around to revisiting some of those patterns, that's fine too. Either way is totally fine. You can buy the books now. If you have the books now, dive into them and take a look. Do I think I'll have the pattern conversions done by the end of next week? No, Grace, I will not, because I'll have to make sample garments for each of them too. Yeah, Thea, these patterns are fine as they are. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the patterns. To decide whether you turn the track, all the ideas that I said yesterday, I still want to do. So yeah, there's nothing that I shared that I wouldn't be interested in doing. It's just a time factor because I need sample garments for everything in order. Grace, were you pulling my leg? Okay, I'm guessing Grace was pulling my leg. I try to keep a straight face through that though. When will the video tutorial for the Thalia dress be released? Soon. All right, good, Grace. First up for new patterns are going to be Trixie and the Unnamed Crochet Lace Pullovers. Next up for videos are probably going to be the Knit Willow Vest and the Thalia dress. Sharon, what's the best way to learn how to use charts? Watch videos on how to use them. I've done lots of videos on how to read charts, knitting and crochet, and if you want to look further, I'm sure there are lots of other people that have done videos and other types of tutorials to teach you how to read charts. But I've done tons of videos on how to read charts. I don't know if you mean knitting or crochet, but I've done it for both. And there's lots of information out there on how to read them. Could the named one? Yeah, any of these could be converted to Be So Baby yarn, but it's a much thicker yarn, so you'll have to figure out your gauge and your drape and all that stuff. That's all. Somebody said I taught them how to read charts. I'm so happy to hear that. I hope you are happy that you know how to read charts. Hi, Judy. Christine learned how to read charts from the demi sleeves, so she's giving, I missed the bad comments, so thanks moderators, I didn't even see them. I saw a couple of names that were doozies, but I figured, but I've missed the negativity today, so yay me. I hear plenty of it in comments, let me tell you. Remember the face mask video that I did last month? It's almost to 7 million views now. I think it's at 6.8 million views. Can you imagine the comments that I've heard on there? I mean, you talk about doozies. Woo-wee! Yeah, there's disgusting people out there. I mean, whatever. Whatever. Yes, our moderators are awesome. Round of applause for our moderators. Thank you. Yeah, what are you going to do? There's weirdos everywhere. Like my grandpa always said, there's more nuts than bolts out there. Oh, well. all we can do is choose to be the person we want to be when we wake up in the morning. That's it. The only person we can control is ourselves, and then how we react to the things that happen around us. That's it. I don't care. I'm the only person that I have to be comfortable with before I can go to sleep at night. So I choose to live the way I want to live. Yep, some people have nothing better to do, so they must be very sad on the inside. So, oh well. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Which one? The more nuts than bolts? That was one of my grandpas. That's the same grandpa. I only met one of my grandfathers. My dad's father passed away before I was born. He was a Norwegian. He was the captain of a whaling ship, and he was from Norway, and he got stranded on North America's coastline during World War II. But he died before I was born. My other grandfather lived in Detroit, and he was a tool and die maker for Chrysler for most of his life. And he had some really wonderful quotes, and I know I've shared several of them with you here, but one of them was, more nuts than bolts out there, and the other one was, always remember to stop and smell the roses. All right, I don't think I see any other questions. If you come up with a question later, by all means, feel welcome to leave it for me in the comments. I get notified of those all day. So if you have any feedback or ideas or whatever, anything you want to tell me, just leave them in the recorded version comments, and I get those comments. I gotta be careful rocking on this chair. Starting to worry I'm gonna get a kitty again. Anyway, what else? It's Friday, so have a great weekend. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider clicking that red subscribe button in the corner. If you click the bell notification button next to the subscribe button, you'll get notifications every time I go live or upload a new video. If you have friends that you think might enjoy my channel or my videos, please consider sharing my content with them. I'd really appreciate it. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday morning, same time, same place. Bye.